Hello everyone and welcome to another crocheting along YouTube video. In today's tutorial we will be making a double crochet square. As you can see, it's a little bit looser than the other two patterns we have done so far. What you'll be needing includes a sewing needle for weaving in ends once you're finished, some scissors or clippers so then you can cut any yarn tails, and a crochet hook. In today's tutorial I will be using a 4.5mm crochet hook. You will also need some yarn. I'm using DK weight yarn, also known as double knit, 8 ply, or weight 3. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, to start you're going to grab the yarn in your left hand like this, and then grab the long end with your right hand and wrap it around to form a cross. Then turn over your hand and insert your hook under the first loop and over the second, pulling that second loop through the first and turning your hook so it's facing back along your left hand. Drop both the tails and then grab them again and pull them tight to form a knot. Then pull on the long end until the knot gets close enough to the hook. But make sure it's not too tight so then it can still move up and down the hook freely. For this project, you are going to need 15 chains. To chain, wrap around and pull through the loop on your hook. You can hold the yarn any way you like, but I find this way the easiest. Once again, wrap around and pull through. I now have a chain of 3, and I'm just going to continue doing this until I have 15 chains. I'm trying to show you another example of how to hold the yarn, but I find this way a little bit more tricky now that I've learnt the other way. So now all you're going to do is continue to chain until you have 15 chains. And I'll meet back up with you once you have done that. Alright, I now have my 15 chains. You are also going to need some turning chains for this project. This is going to allow you to turn your work in other rows. You will need 2 turning chains. To do this, all you need to do is make 2 extra chains. It's that simple. Alright, you are now ready to work the double crochet stitch. Just like the other 2 tutorials, you want to work in the top loops, but make sure that you skip the first 2 chains as these were your turning chains. To make a double crochet, wrap around and put your hook in the top loop of the stitch. Wrap around and pull up. You should now have 3 loops. Wrap around and pull through 2. Wrap around and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. So this is kind of similar to the half double crochet, although the only difference is that in double crochet you pull through 2 loops twice rather than pulling through all 3 at once. Continue doing this all the way along your row until you have made 15 double crochets. Just remember, you're going to wrap around and pull through 2 twice to form a double crochet. Alright, I only have 2 stitches left and then I'll be finished my first row of double crochets. Alright, I hope you're finished too. Congratulations! You should now have your first row. Alright, just like the chain row, you will need to make a turning chain of 2. To do this, just like the first chain row, you will need to make 2 extra chains. As the name of it implies, you will now need to turn your work. You should now be working right to left once again. This row is slightly different as you'll be working into both of the loops of the V's, rather than just the top. Make sure you don't work into the turning chains though, as then you'll make extra stitches. Also, it'll look kind of sideways and wonky. So, wrap around, put your hook through both loops of the V, pull up, wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, and pull through 2 again. You should now have 1 double crochet. Continue doing this all the way across until you have made 15 double crochets. Once you've got to the end of your row, I will meet back up with you, and then you'll be all set to completing the rest of your square. Alright, I only have 1 stitch left and then I'll be finished my second row. I hope you're having fun and getting hang of the stitch by now, as it is pretty simple and it'll be a complete repeat for the rest of the pattern. If you're having trouble making the stitch, just make sure you go back and check in the slower parts of the video to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Alright, just like before, you're going to make a turning chain of 2. And then turn your work. You should now be working right to left once again, and you should continue doing this until you have made a square. Alright, so continue making rows going across and then up and across and then up until when you fold it in half, corner to corner, it creates a triangle. As you can see, this makes a nice neat triangle. Therefore, it is a perfect square. So continue working your rows until you have completed one whole square. Alright, now when I fold my square in half, corner to corner, it forms a perfect triangle. This means I can finish off with a knot and then sew in my ends and I will be finished. To do this, cut the yarn, making sure that you leave enough of a tail that you can weave in once you are finished, and then put your hook back onto the loop and then pull it back onto your hook. Then wrap around just like making any stitch and pull through. Just to make sure, I will redo this step so then you can see again. Wrap around and pull through. Then pull the tail all the way up until it pulls through the loop. Then grab the end and pull it so then the knot becomes tight. Now you should have finished your nice neat double crochet square. Now you can sew your ends in with a sewing needle. I'm going to show you how to weave in the ends if you are unsure. If you do know how to sew in your own ends, feel free to skip forward till 10:25 where I'll finish off this video. Okay, I'm just trimming my last end, and now I have finished my nice neat square. I like to use this stitch for many looser projects, and it's a really well used stitch, so it's good to learn. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Bye!